What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today's video we're going to be talking about the best weapons for PvE. Today's list will be split between both legendary and exotic weapons. The first half of the list will be exotic and the second half will be legendary weapons. In this video I'll explain the god rolls for each weapon if they have one and how to get them. I tried to split this list pretty equally between weapons you may need expansions for and then for those that are free. Please try to keep in mind throughout this video that this list is 100% my opinion, but I think it did a good job at choosing weapons you guys would like. Before we get started, I just want to say that we are so close to 3,000 subscribers. I really do think we can get there before the end of the year, so if this video helps you out in any way, shape, or form, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And as always, if you're struggling getting anything in Destiny 2 or just want to find a team to play with, please consider joining my Discord. We have a growing community of players who are always down to run something with you. If you're interested in joining, you can find the link in the description of this video, the description of my channel, and in the banner of my channel. Anyways, without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into this list. Number 1, we have the exotic hand cannon Malfeasance. Now, Malfeasance is a great exotic weapon, especially for GMs, because of its high damage output and built-in unstoppable mod. You don't even need unstoppable hand cannons for this weapon. You can literally run this weapon without any artifact mods, and it will still stun unstoppable champions. Another thing about this weapon is that it recently got a catalyst which just gives it Vorpal Weapon, which is even better. And because it already does so much damage, running this with a Lucky Pants build on Hunter makes it even stronger. So if you are interested in grabbing this weapon, it can be obtained by playing Gambit matches until you summon your Primeval. If an Ascendant Primeval Servitor is summoned instead, you'll receive the Seething Heart quest after the match. Once you do that quest, you will receive the Malfeasance exotic hand cannon. Number 2, we have the exotic linear fusion rifle Arbalist. Again, this is another weapon that is great for GMs because of its huge damage to shielded enemies. This is similar to Malfeasance because it has a built-in mod that allows you to stun barrier champions. If you're interested in grabbing this weapon, you'll have to complete a Netherlast City exotic quest from Shahan, located in the Cosmodrome. Next up on the list, we have the Witherhoard exotic grenade launcher. Now, Witherhoard is a great weapon for DPS swaps when switching in between weapons while doing damage. The damage lingering does enough damage for you to have time to shoot your other weapons. And what makes this weapon even better is if you have the catalyst, it'll give you auto-loading holster, so when you swap back to Witherhoard, you don't even have to reload it. If you're interested in grabbing Witherhoard, you can get it from the Shadowkeep section from the exotic archive, but unfortunately you will need the Shadowkeep expansion to buy this weapon. Next up on the list, we have the exotic auto rifle Choir of One. Now, this weapon is a great DPS weapon in general, and with the right roll you can have the highest damage output out of anyone in your team. Now, the god roll that I would recommend for this weapon is Fluted Barrel for your barrel, Flared Magwell for your magazine, Composite Stock for your stock, and for your catalyst trait I would recommend Onslaught Refit, but another good option is Subsistence Refit. However, in my opinion, Onslaught Refit is going to be a better option for DPS. If you're interested in grabbing this weapon, you can get it by completing the exotic mission Encore, once receiving the quest after completing the Echoes storyline up to that point. If you try and run this mission without the quest, you will not receive the exotic auto rifle. And for this quest, you must own either Episode Echoes or the Final Shape Annual Pass. And next up on the list for the final exotic weapon, we have Icebreaker. Now, the reason that I chose this weapon for the list is because it is great for the current stasis meta, especially with the catalyst. It can pair really well with any stasis build that you're trying to create. Now, if you're interested in grabbing this weapon, you can obtain it as a random drop from the Vespers Host dungeon after completing the final encounter. You can increase the drop chance by completing certain triumphs, but you must own the Final Shape dungeon key or the Final Shape annual pass to play this dungeon. Now, next up we have our first legendary weapon, Tanasha's Mastery. Now, technically this weapon is not out yet, so I don't have a god roll for you, but because rocket sidearms are already one of the strongest PvE weapons in the game, and because of the current stasis meta, this weapon will be one of the strongest PvE weapons in the game. Now, if you're interested in grabbing this weapon, you'll have to wait until Iron Banner, which you can then grab the weapon from either engrams or the rank up system through Lord Saladin. Next up on the list, we have the VS Velocity Baton. Now, this is the best area denial frame grenade launcher. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a rapid fire grenade launcher that leaves pools of damage. The only other one that we have is the Lost Signal Stasis area denial frame grenade launcher. And while both are really good, I just think that the VS Velocity Baton is a better option. Now, the god roll that I would recommend for this weapon is Quick Launch for the barrel, High Velocity rounds for the magazine, Unrelenting for perk 1, and Destabilizing rounds for perk 2. And for the masterwork, I would recommend Velocity. If you're interested in grabbing this weapon, it can be obtained from the Vespers Host dungeon. The specific encounters that drop this weapon are encounters 1 and 3. However, if you want to run this dungeon like before, you must own the Final Shape dungeon key or the annual pass. Next up on the list, we have the Slammer. Now, the reason I chose the Slammer is because it is the best Eager Edge sword currently available, and the role that you specifically want is Jagged Edge for your blade, Sword Master's Guard for your guard, Eager Edge for perk 1, and Bait and Switch or Cold Steel for perk 2. And for your masterwork, I would recommend Impact. Now, if you're interested in grabbing this weapon, you can get it through Nightfalls when it's in rotation, or you can just buy it from Zavala for 5 engrams. Next up on the list, we have the Void Heavy Grenade Launcher Edge Transit. Now, Edge Transit is the best DPS grenade launcher in the game currently, and pairs really well with some of the weapons I said before that are great for swapping during DPS. Now, the god roll that I would recommend for this weapon is Quick Launch for the barrel, Spike Grenades for the magazine, Envious Assassin for perk 1, and Bait and Switch for perk 2. And for your masterwork, I would recommend Handling. And it can be obtained through the OG Onslaught in the Vanguard tab. After completing 10 rounds, you'll have a chest that will have a chance to drop the weapon for you. Now, to make it even easier for you, you can go to Zavala right now and then go down to the Attunement tab, and from there you're able to attune whatever weapon you want specifically to focus into, which will give you a better chance of that weapon dropping from the chest. And Edge Transit is the 4th one on the list. Now, the last weapon that we have on this list is the Void Machine Gun Commemoration. Commemoration is a great ad clear weapon for GMs, especially when they have Void shields. Now, the god roll that I would recommend for Commemoration is Arrowhead Break for your barrel, Accurized Rounds for your magazine, Reconstruction for perk 1, and Killing Tally for perk 2. And for the masterwork, I would recommend Reload Speed. Now, if you're interested in grabbing this weapon, you can obtain it through the Deepstone Crypt raid on Europa, and the specific encounter that drops this weapon is the final encounter when you fight Taniks. Now, that's going to be the end of this list. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribe if you are new. Also, just want to thank you all for watching this video completely, and I want you all to understand that I'm really appreciative of all the support I've been getting in the past month, especially those of you who have subscribed. It really means a lot to me. With all that being said, I will see you all on the next video. Peace.